I do the best I can. I plan ahead. I plan for interruptions. It's those little unplanned interruptions that get in the way. Then I get behind. Then I get discouraged. And then I start thinking, can I really do this? Hi, thanks for joining me here in my homeschool room. Today is part 2 of the 2-part series of homeschooling around interruptions. My last video was about planned interruptions. You can watch that one here if you haven't seen that one yet. Today is going to be about the much more frustrating unplanned interruptions. It happens to all of us. We wake up in the morning, we're getting ready for the school day, and the kids have the flu. Or, surprise, Dad's home for the day. Or it could be a million other unplanned interruptions that disrupt our homeschool day. Homeschooling takes time, a lot of time. There are 3.7 million children homeschooling here in the US. It's not impossible, but it does take discipline, dedication, and time. So I'm going to tell you some things that we do here in our home whenever little unplanned interruptions come and disrupt our day. Then how do we catch up so that we don't get too far behind?
As I mentioned in my previous video,
I try to start the school year a little early. That way, if I get a week or two behind during the school year because of interruptions, it's not that big of a deal because I was already ahead. Now I'm just on schedule. For example, my school year is made up of 34 weeks. If I start at the beginning of August, if I don't take any vacations or any weeks off, that would put me at an end date of mid-March. But now if I add in a week for Thanksgiving, 2 weeks in December, and then like a spring break, it puts me at an end date of mid-April. But I've already had some planned interruptions that have already taken place. So right now, as it stands, I'm looking at a real end date of around mid-May. That date might still change. It kind of depends on how the rest of the year goes. But my goal for each year is to be done by the end of May. If I'm done by the end of May, I feel like we succeeded. My next suggestion is to double up. This just means to put double the schoolwork on one day. So for example, if on Tuesday you had some sort of an interruption, then on Wednesday I would do maybe double math and double writing and double history. And then for Thursday, I would do double science, double spelling, double art, or whatever classes it might be. I usually try to spread out the doubling up so that it's not 2 full days of schoolwork in one day. That's not to say that I never put 2 full days on one day, but I do try to spread it out because I feel like it might be too much work for my kids and then they won't retain the information. And that's what's really important here. My third suggestion is to lighten the load. This just means to cut out any non-essential work so that you can prioritize those core subjects. If it's something like my kids being sick, lighten their load for the day or two that they're sick, plus maybe like another day or two afterwards, so that they can catch up and not get behind on those core subjects. So first I'll cut out non-building subjects. That just means classes that don't build upon themselves. So maybe something like spelling. If my child misses a week of spelling, it's not going to affect them the second week. They don't need to know the spelling lists from the previous week in order to be able to understand and learn the spelling list from the next week. So those are just non-building classes. And those are the ones that I cut first because they're easiest to catch up on. Number 4 is to tweak your classes to save time. So there might not be any lessons that you can cut out that week. It might just be that that week, all of your classes are building classes, but you still need a way to catch up. So my next suggestion would be to tweak those lessons a little bit to shorten the time they take to teach. For example, instead of having your child do all of the book work, try to do a lot of your classes orally. It just cuts down the time that it requires to do each one of those lessons. Something else you might want to try is for elementary students to do flashcards instead of doing a full math lesson. Just find ways to skip book work and swap it out for something more interactive that might take less time. I sometimes like to use online resources. Some resources that I've used in the past are YouTube, obviously, for science class, science experiments, or history, documentaries, things like that. I've also used Khan Academy for math lessons, or even Skillshare.com. I've used that, and I've mentioned that in other videos, for art and just other types of tutorials. I sometimes even use these just as extra resources in our schooling, just because they have really good information. So I use them even when I'm not trying to catch up. It's just good information. Now, if you do get behind and you've dug yourself into a hole, it's not too late. You can catch up, but it will require you to get your blinders on and focus. When a horse is running a race, they put blinders on it so that it doesn't get distracted or spooked by things that are going on around it. In the same way, you'll have to get your blinders on to get back on track with homeschooling. Once the interruptions are over, it has to be Homeschool Beast-Mode. Beast-Mode is just a term that we use here in our family to mean full force, full focus, full dedication until you get it done. So that means homeschool on Saturdays. That means skipping the neighbor kid's birthday party. It might mean having groceries delivered to you instead of going to the grocery store. Whatever you have to do so that you can focus completely on catching up in homeschool. There's nothing worse than that feeling of knowing every day, I'm behind, and it's just a weight that's on top of you. You just have to go full force beast mode until you're all caught up. Even after all of this, if you were so far behind, you might have to delay your end of year date. And that's okay. That's one of the benefits of homeschool. You make it flexible to your family. You make it work best for you. Now, if your life is constantly being interrupted by unexpected circumstances, and it makes it impossible for you to stay on top of homeschooling, all I can say is to pray for wisdom and stability. Homeschool takes time and sacrifices on your part. Coffee and sometimes Tylenol also help. Life is all about choices, about picking your priorities. And when you choose to homeschool your children, you're choosing to make their education a priority. Sometimes that means sacrificing other things to make homeschooling a success. We all get behind from time to time, and that's okay. You can do this. Take a deep breath, dig deep, and get to work. Remember, the point of homeschool is to create learners, not to cover as much material as humanly possible. Keep going. And thanks for taking a few minutes out of your busy day to spend the time here with me. Now, if you have another few minutes, I recommend one of these other videos. I'll see you next time. Bye.